Over the past 2 or 3 years, I have reviewed hundreds of shoes, and because June is a pretty slow month for sneakers, so I thought I need to come up with a video so algorithm gods will still keep me in their minds and not forget about me. And this is what I came up with. Here are my 10 favorite shoes that I've ever reviewed, and disclaimer, it is only shoes that I've had in hand and I had a great time reviewing it. It may not be like my favorite just colorways of all time. If I had to choose 10 shoes to live for the rest of my life, this might not be the exact list, but I just really enjoyed talking about these shoes, unboxing them, feeling them, getting them in hand, and bring hopefully somewhat enjoyable video to you through the process. So here we go. And at number 10, it is the Nike SB Dunk Low Jarritos that dropped all the way back in 2023. And if you remember, this year was an insane year for the SB Dunk. You had this shoe, you had the Born and Raised, you had the Yuto Origami first debuts SB Dunk. April Skateboards one was really nice as well. Just a ton of absolute bangers. This one was my favorite. It might actually be my favorite SB Dunk of all time, maybe, but it's definitely up there. And I think this is one of the best sneakers of that entire year, SB Dunk or not. And it still remains to this day one of my favorites. It was a shoe that I reviewed like way after the release actually came out, so I was way late, but I still had to get my hands on them. It is obviously a collaboration with the drink Jarritos. I actually, before this shoe came out, I had never actually tasted it, but when it did, I went and got one of the flavors. I can't remember which one. And this shoe, I just think they did a really good job. Comes with just nubuck on the shoe with some canvas overlays that is wear away. That shows like some orange under that kind of wheat tan color, with Jarritos branding as well, with of course the fat tongue, the fat laces. I think since then we've never had a year like 2023 for the SB Dunk, and I don't think we're gonna have it this year as well. And at number 9, it is the Nigel Sylvester Jordan 4 Brick by Brick that dropped last year. And this shoe did make my top 10 sneakers of 2025. And I know there are some people that look at this and are like, it's just a deep orange Jordan 4. What is the big deal? That is true. But I have always said in many videos that I really like monochromatic looking shoes. Even if they're not like the easiest to wear, even though it might be a little loud, I think this shoe looked great. And the materials that came with it, super nice nubuck. I love this kind of deep orange, deep red color. The shade is absolutely delicious. I don't really know too much about Nigel Sylvester, apart from the fact that I know he's a BMX athlete, he grew up in New York City. But one thing I can say is I don't think he's really missed with any of his collaborations with Jordan Brand. Most of them, or all of them, I think at the very least, are nice. And I think this is one of his best. Just a really nice colorway, bike gear branding on the back, of course. Storytelling was really well done, custom box. It was like insanely packaged with the straps in the shoebox as well. Of course, he's since had a few other collaborations with Jordan Brand, including a Jordan 4 this year, but this was his first Jordan 4 and he absolutely knocked it out of the park. And at number 8, it is the Jordan 3 Soul 2.0. that dropped last year in 2025. Now, the original version of the shoe dropped in 2018 to celebrate the 30th year anniversary of the Seoul Olympics. I actually made a video about all the shoes I regret letting go of, and this made the list. It was number 2. And I explained why in that video. I still regret it to this day. It's not too insanely hard to get right now, and it's not too expensive, so I might reclaim this shoe, but I just really had a fun time reviewing this shoe overall because the storytelling was absolutely bonkers. The whole unboxing experience was like a hanbok, which if you don't know, go check out my review. I explain it in detail. You get the South Korean flag on the tongue, you get the branding inside the tongue. Again, in my video, I explain what that means, and the materials are super nice. The ankle collar is different as well, just plays into the storytelling overall again. Just a really, really well done shoe. I don't think this shoe is like my favorite colorway or top 10 favorite colorways of all time, but I had an absolute great time just reviewing it, just learning about the different cultural kind of tie-ins and references on the shoe overall. One of the best things about sneakers, just learning about something you didn't know about because of the sneaker itself. And at at number 7, it is the Jordan 5 Tokyo 23 that dropped in 2025. Now, this colorway, of course, was originally released in 2011 to celebrate the largest Jordan brand store at the time in the world that was located in Shibuya District in Tokyo, Japan. It has since been overtaken in terms of size by World of Flight, but back then it was a huge deal. Japan exclusive, super limited, very hard to get. Never thought we would ever see the return of the shoe, and in some sense, we didn't. Because what they did for the retro version of this is they changed up the toe box, so it's not a one-to-one return of this grail for many people, but for me, it is still delicious. There's no way I would have ever gotten my hands on the 2011 version, so getting this in hand 14 years later, I'm satisfied. The nubuck here is really nice. The Jordan 5 is my favorite shoe of all time. It might not be super wearable with that bright yellow, but considering the history, considering how rare it was at one point, this was a must-have. And at number 6, it is the Foamposite Tenjin 2.0 that recently dropped in 2026. Now, the 1.0 version of the shoe originally dropped in 2015. It was a China exclusive, super hard to get. I actually liked that version better, but never got it in hand, so couldn't include it. But I think they did another great job on this version of the shoe. Originally, we all thought it was going to be another China exclusive, but it actually dropped on sneakers, and I go into great detail in my review of this shoe around all the kind of historical and cultural tie-ins of the sneaker itself, explaining why the lotus is included, explaining why fish is used, and the significance of Tenjin for basketball for Nike in China. So if you want to learn about all of that, check out my detailed review. But again, like some other shoes on this list, this might not be like my absolute favorite colorway, but just the storytelling. And I am originally from Taiwan. There are references in this shoe that I just immediately understood. So being able to talk about that and understand that at a deeper level is really enjoyable. So really loved reviewing this shoe. It might not be a colorway that I will wear often, but at least having it on a shelf, looking at it, makes me feel good. And at number 5, it is the Huarache 2K4 All-Star that again returned this year. And of course the 2K4, like the name suggests, dropped in 2004. Originally meant to be a Kobe Bryant signature shoe. He was going through his court case. Nike was like, maybe not a great time to drop his first signature shoe, but let's make him the face of it. Tied to Kobe ever since. But the 2K4 just absolutely defined an era of Nike basketball. One of the best Nike basketball shoes ever, top 3 in my opinion, and it was also a shoe that I was able to get one pair of. You can see it behind me, this black laser colorway. Was never able to get my hands on the All-Star colorway. I missed out in the 2016 retro, but I finally got it this year. And it's still sitting behind me. I've played in it. It is a little outdated in terms of performance, but the nostalgia factor is immeasurable. Getting these, talking about it, I hope you can hear the passion come through in my detailed review. It is absolutely genuine because it was one of those colorways as a teenager. I was like, this one slipped through, never will be able to get it, but I was wrong. And next it is the Jordan 185 Bred. They came out in 2025. Honestly, last year Jordan Brand just came out swinging like a madman. And this is one of the first bonkers releases that they had early to start the year. It was more expensive, overpriced, but the materials on these babies were really nice. Really thick leather. Might feel stiff when you first like wear the shoe, but it was really great quality. And the Bred colorway, I think, is the best Jordan 1 OG colorway. It's the best Jordan 1 colorway, like overall, non-OG as well. I am a black sneaker lover, so this fits right up my alley. And this being an 85 cut, as close to the original OG version as possible, just was the sugar on top. Now, of course, this colorway has returned many times, and then you've seen the satin version, the patent leather version, the Flyknit version, just tons of it. But this might be the best retro that we've ever gone so far. And at number 3, it is the Air Force 1 Year of the Dragon that dropped in 2023. This was a China exclusive, bonkers price, but I think they did a phenomenal job on this shoe. Since then, for like the Lunar New Year shoes, even like China exclusives, I don't think they've done a great job. But this, yeah, They went all out. You see this upper, it is all silk with like oriental inspired designs with a dragon, with a fish. You get these gold laced braids, just really, really cool. A unique looking shoe on a silhouette that is timeless in the Air Force Ones. I've always been very scared to wear these. I've only ever worn it once on a very special occasion. Did put it on feet. Luckily, no damage was done to it. The material, the shoe looks still brand new, apart from the outsoles. But yeah, it is one of those shoes that I might not wear a ton, but on a shelf in my collection, is absolutely an eye catcher. Now next up, it is the Jordan 5 Black Metallic Reimagined that came out in 2025. Now this colorway returned like a few weeks before the Jordan 1 85 Bread, so February 2025 was an absolute bonkers, crazy month, and in my opinion, this is the best Jordan 5 colorway ever. I am a black sneaker lover, Jordan 5 lover. Combine the two, it is delicious. Do I love that this is a reimagined version with that kind of reflective piping? Not really. I would have preferred the shoe without it, but I don't think it's too much where it detracts from the colorway and how good this shoe is. It is an OG colorway with the historical significance of Michael Jordan having worn this colorway himself. Now MJ had his own pair with the 23 on the heel, which the general release version does not have, so we don't exactly get what Michael Jordan did, but still, close enough. Not like the most complex, insane colorway that we've ever seen. Very simple, but a lot of times, simple is perfect. And at number 1, it is the Nike Dunk High Wu-Tang that dropped on November 9, 2024, which was also the anniversary of Wu-Tang Clan's debut album. And in my review video, I go into extreme detail about why Wu-Tang is just the GOAT in my opinion, why they are so significant for me. And long story short, being an Asian dude that grew up in the Western world, our culture, our people were never seen as like cool or like hip or like on the front lines of culture. We kind of made to fit in this box. But Wu-Tang came along, and obviously they were undoubtedly cool as They embraced the culture, bring a ton of martial arts, kung fu, and Eastern references into their songs, into their identity. Like their name is literally from a kung fu film, so it just gave an extra kind of seal of aura for our entire people. And as someone that grew up just naturally gravitating towards hip-hop, seeing this phenomenal rap group embracing the different parts of our culture was, yeah, it was next level. So this is definitely my grail. This original colorway was super insanely limited. You could basically not get it back in 1999. We did not think we would ever see the return. Nike was in talks, I believe in 2016, to bring it back. That fizzled out, but finally, in 2024, they brought it back, even though there's slight differences, like the shade of yellow is a little darker. The angle on the Wu-Tang logo on the heel is also slightly different. And 36 pairs were set aside, made into very special releases with a special box, with like a t-shirt as well, I believe. Also a jar of honey was included. And if you're wondering why 36, that's a reference to 36 Chambers. And I was just insanely excited to talk about this shoe and review it because I wanted to express just my appreciation for Wu-Tang just throughout my entire life. And even though I was super young when Wu-Tang was at their peak, like we all know, Wu-Tang is for the children. Wu-Tang forever. So that's it. Thanks for watching Soul Inclined. Let me know what you think of this list. What are some of your favorite shoes that you've ever felt in hand? Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes